Hello everyone, it's Margaret here with 60andMe. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope that all is well with you. I want to do a video today about something that is always near and dear to my heart, which is travel. I don't know, I think I moved a lot when I was a little girl, and I just have this bug in me for experiencing new places and getting out into the world. And I know that we've had a tough couple of years where travel's been really difficult, if not impossible, but just felt inspired to, kind of think about what might be ahead for the year, and give you some tips on how to get back into traveling. Now, a lot of people in the United States have cars, and in Europe we're a little bit more into public transport, trains and buses. But in the States, you've got your cars, and I think that opens a doorway to do things with travel that are more approachable and realistic in a time where you may be a little more cautious about getting on a plane and going somewhere. So if it's spring, fall, winter, whatever it is in your part of the world, as you're watching this video, let's think about some ways that we can get back into travel. And for me, it's not just the actual going somewhere, it's the people that I meet, it's the food that I experience, the places, the culture, the history, the stories. It's the stories of the places that I absolutely adore. So I guess the first thing, and by the way, this discussion was sort of inspired by Kathleen Sinclair, one of our bloggers, who wrote an article about how to get back to traveling. And so the first thing she talks about is thinking local. Thinking local. I think we live in a place and we forget that we've got things happening in our world, in our surroundings, in our town or village or city that are just so hidden. We don't even know about them, that we haven't explored ourselves. So think like a tourist. Think like a tourist and go and explore your own town. Even if it's something like walking in a park or biking or hiking or just doing something with grandkids or friends. There's museums, there's probably retreat centers, there's workshops, there's all kinds of groups that are doing things in your neighborhood, in your village. And when I say or your town, when I say your village or town, I mean your city or your state. I mean, a lot of people live in a state and they've only really traveled around their own little area, but there's so much going on. I remember when I lived in the States and I used to drive around, one of my favorite things was just to watch for signs that were pointing to like just some memorial or something that was like unusual, that's like a little statement of something happened here. And then I would go down that little road, down in the country road, maybe find a little auction house or a store or a little shop, and just sit down, have a coffee, watch the people, talk to strangers if they approached, and just for a moment, just go somewhere that you had no idea was there. Like you just completely didn't know it existed. So Google day trips near me, and you'll come up with all kinds of things. And if you don't have a car, then you can go by bus, you can go hopefully by train if you're in that part of the world, or grab a friend that can take you and go together. But there's also a lot of tour guides that are available now online. So if you don't want to go wandering around a place that you didn't know by yourself, you could just get a tour guide to take you. I remember several years ago, I actually went to Denmark, to Copenhagen, and there was a place there called Christiania, which was a very fascinating place. It was like a place where people had taken over the land about 20 years ago, kind of hippies, and formed a city. They built their own little town. And the government's been trying to get them out of that land for 25 years. But anyway, you get the story. Interesting place, but a little like what to expect. So I hired a guide. His name was, I think it was Johan, and he met me outside the gates and we went in together. He knew it, he did it all the time, he knew the people, and it was amazing to go with someone who knew the area. So if you think local guides, local activities, local highlights, local places, that's a good way to get back into travel. The other thing is to think about online. Now, I've talked about this before because there are so many that have emerged because of the pandemic. There's one, for example, called youvisit.com. And I've gone there many times because it's got all the world's like famous sites like Machu Picchu and the Taj Mahal. And you can literally just take your mouse and just scroll around and it takes you to the edges of the cliffs and you can look over, and it's just amazing. And there's no charge for those. So the one on Machu Picchu is one I absolutely loved, and it's very detailed. And you don't have to, of course, be there. Even if you could travel, it's super far away and expensive. But there's things like a couple of online tour companies I know of. One's called Girls Travel Tours, And it's not just for girls, young girls. It's for women, and it's mostly. I talked to the owner of this company. Her name is Mora. Is mostly older women, or women are traveling, and so what they've done is during the pandemic, a lot of their colleagues, like they manage tours. That's their job, but they knew the tour guides weren't working, so they asked these tour guides to put together videos, and then they offer a guided tour by a real life tour guide in that country. And then they don't charge you for going and looking at it. It's girltraveltours.com, but you can tip the tour guide, which is $5 or something, for having spent an hour putting together a really detailed tour of Porto or somewhere in Lisbon. So Airbnb, if I know we're not doing as much staying in Airbnbs these days, but they have got these things called experiences, and you can go to airbnb.com. And again, they've given people around the world the opportunity to share their place. I took a course online with them. It cost me $13, and I got to go to Jaipur virtually and do a cooking class with this amazingly funny and very sweet cook. He was sitting literally in his kitchen, and it was in a fancy luxury hotel. It was just this man cooking. And he had sent out all the details about what foods to buy so we could make these parathas together. And there were 12 other people from all around the world, and there was me. It was like so much fun. And I got to learn about cooking and also meet people. It was fun. Also museum tours. You can go to so many museums and just walk around the exhibitions. You can go to like the zoo. I think San Diego Zoo has got a great webcam, online tours to like other sites where just check it out. The other thing too online is webcams and just drone pictures. There's so many companies now that have got drones that have gone up. They send them up to do these amazing panoramics of different places. And again, some of them do charge some money for it, but most of those are free, and they're promoting their services usually. Another thing to think about is how you're going to travel. And I mentioned cars because that's like in the United States, we're all into our cars. And I haven't lived in the States for now, 12 years, quite a while. But I do know when my car was my home. Basically my home was in my car. But traveling by car is probably the easiest and maybe the safest. I mean, airlines are back to sort of normal as I'm recording this video, or not normal, but the new normal. Less flights, more cancellations, and so driving is like an ideal way. Airbnb, for example, for the accommodation. I mean, it's kind of controversial because Airbnb I know is affecting a lot of people rentals in different places, and I don't want to minimize the importance of that, but they're great for short-term lets and for having just a place to go and talk to a local, be in their home and be able to get them to help you discover places in their town or their place. And it's another good option. Another thing is you can do these trade your house things where you can go to someone else's house and they can come to yours. Again, our technology has now opened doors. What to drink and take with you? Well, in a car, you just stock up all your favorites, and you've got this, pack a lunch, and you can travel for 500 miles and just snack as you go. Also, there's Uber delivers. What's it called? Is it Uber Delivery? There's another one called Didgeridoo. No, that's not one. But there's lots of them. Online ordering services where you can get food delivered to you. So just pretend that you're going to Mexico for a few weeks and just order in Mexican food and just don't give up. You can't get to some of these places right now, but you can certainly, your brain doesn't know where you are. I mean, your brain can be entertained and you can enjoy just going somewhere. There's so much to do. I mean, locally, you've got parks, you've got, as I said, there's retreats going on. There's all kinds of adventure places for kids. Go be a kid. Just go. Do it. And, and just enjoy what's been offered to us as this transition. It'll get your travel juices kind of going again, and you'll feel like, maybe the next time I can take a train somewhere, or maybe the next time I can get on a plane, or I can go somewhere a little further that I've always wanted to go. There's not, this world is not going to start getting like normal again. Like, there's no normal. There's no place you can go that's totally not high risk. You just have to decide what your band of sort of how much you can cope with the stress of it. And I mean, even traveling now, there's not so much requirement on COVID regulations, but of course there's other things going on. So have you looked at your local travel options? Are you getting back into travel, or are you just kind of happy to stay home? And that's okay too. I think a lot of people are just like doing spa days at home and feeling like, okay, this is good enough. But maybe you've got something you'd like to share with us. Are you planning a summer vacation? Are you going somewhere? Are you planning a full vacation or a cruise? Share in the section below. Let's have a chat and inspire other women to, just to maybe give it a chance. Start local, as as we talked about, and then if you don't, that doesn't satisfy, then go a bit further and further. But again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a supporter of 60andMe. Please do me a favor and like this video. That gives YouTube the message to share it with other women, and and just subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, because you can always unsubscribe if it's not good, but I think we'll entertain you. And it's not just the travel. We talk about all kinds of things, relationships and retirement. We talk about well-being and health and money and makeup, beauty, fashion, all kinds of things. So take really good care of yourselves. Have a fabulous day, and we will see you again soon. Bye-bye.